Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to Early Wilson Stadium as your Hustlin Rebels are set to take on the Bears of Northern Colorado. Will Lewin here, joined alongside Ben Hadashell. Game just about to kick off here at beautiful Earl E. Wilson Stadium in Las Vegas Valley. Ben, it's been a bit of a week for us. They went over to Santa Clara last weekend to take on the Broncos after their Western Michigan series. We've got an exciting group here. Got that 2-1 win against Santa Clara, but it is going to be Reese Lewick on the bump here, ready to get things started for the Hustlin Rebels. Through his windup, the first pitch, not going to find the zone. We'll start off with a ball one. First hitter for Northern Colorado is going to be Brent Barber, the second baseman for the Bears. That pitch lined over a jumping Cooper Chef at the shortstop position. It'll be a base hit for Brent Barber to start off this game for Northern Colorado. In steps the left fielder Jaden Stone, and then Northern Colorado enters this game 0-12, looking for their first win. They did have a matchup against New Mexico not too long ago. New Mexico finds themselves still undefeated in Division I college baseball. Looking at those kinds of metrics, what do you think is the kind of thought process for Northern Colorado coming into a game against a UNLV Hustlin Rebels team that has quite honestly been really hot these last couple of weeks?
They just need to be aggressive. Some of their, they played some really high scoring baseball games. They got to get on the board early, show that they can hit the ball, show that they've got good offensive presence, and just kind of take those early leads in the ball games.
Yeah, we were looking at those stats before the game, kind of seeing what really has gone right for Northern Colorado and how they can maybe exploit that in this two-game series against UNLV, as Stone takes that for a ball inside and low. And I feel like one of the big things that we kind of pointed out is that they're not really hitting for a lot of power. And when they do get on base, there aren't really a lot of bags being stolen from the Bears. 1-0 count from Lewick. Swung on and fouled down the left field line. It'll kind of trickle into the Northern Colorado dugout. It'll make it 1-1 here. But personally, Ben, I obviously look at a team looking for their first win, and I honestly don't want to be in the crosshairs of a team like that. Backs against the walls, they really have nothing to lose, so you know they're going to throw everything at you.
Yeah, UNLV can't underestimate this Bears team. They have nothing to lose, as you just said, so they're going to come out fighting.
PA announcer Luke doing a good job warning the fans here at the ballpark to watch out for the foul balls as Stone fouled another one, this time into the stands. Makes it 1-2 here for him. The lefty senior waiting for the pitch from Lewick. It'll be a pickoff attempt, not in time. Johnny Rodriguez laying the tag down there at first base, not in time. Diving back Barber, getting in there safely. We've seen this a lot from UNLV when we've got runners on the base pass, really keeping them on their toes a lot and making sure that they don't have those free bases. The 1-2 pitch from Lewick, swung on, foul back. We'll do it again at 1-2. But UNLV just has been scorching hot. After that Western Michigan sweep, they go into the Santa Clara three-game matchup over the weekend, looking to kind of use some of that success to as momentum into the Santa Clara series as another pitch is fouled off by Stone. And again, Santa Clara, one of those teams that you can't really turn a blind eye on. They've always had a good baseball team, a good roster through and through, and UNLV able to get there, get to the Bay Area, get the job done 2-1 against the Broncos.
Yeah, they may not have had the strongest record going into the series, but they put up a pretty good fight against UNLV. They no hit them through 7 innings in that last game of the series.
1-2 pitch swung on, and Cooper Chef looking to cover the bag. Wasn't there in order to try and field the ball. Great piece of hitting there from Jaden Stone, able to just place that ball exactly where he needed it to. The runner Barber had a great jump against Lewick. It got Cooper Chef running over to the bag, hoping to get a throw down from his catcher, Gavin Taylor. But almost like a hit and run there from Northern Colorado, the kind of thing you'd hope to kind of see from them. Like we just said, doing everything in order to get the guys on.
Yeah, the hit run is a very underutilized piece of baseball in today's game, and you can really score some runs if you can use it to your advantage.
First pitch to the new hitter, Jake Bullard, is popped high in the air but lands in the stands here at Early Wilson Stadium. Some fans having to get out of the way in order to not get hit by the baseball. No one seems keen on grabbing it, though. It will be an 0-1 count here on Bullard. But yeah, two hitters, two base runners here against Lewick. We saw this the last time he was up where he got in a bit of a jam in his first inning, but the rest of the way really refined his stuff. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. The outside breaking ball got him.
Yeah, he's just got really good stuff, got good movement. He'll just let the pitches speak for themselves. Don't try to throw too much heat and try to blow these past him guys because you'll get them with their off-speed pitches.
The 0-2 pitch from Lewick. Runner's going to take off from second base. Gavin Taylor can't handle it. It looks like it was fouled off. Yeah, not a lot of aggressiveness there from Taylor to try and get the ball as it skips behind him. So you'd like to imagine that it's a foul ball. He's not just going to give the free runner, the base runner, a free base. But yeah, Brett Barber really kind of honing in on his base running skills here, trying to stat pad a little bit. 0-2 pitch again from Lewick. Long looking at home plate. It's going to be a pickoff attempt at second base. That's Marcos Rosales at the 4 spot tonight here for the Hustlin Rebels. One of those designed plays.
Yeah, Barber's got a pretty decent lead over at first. He's gonna show so he's showing his aggression on the base path. They're not worried about getting too many outs on the base paths.
A strikeout swinging is how Jake Bullard is going to go down, and it's the first out here recorded by the Hustlin Rebels. So Reese Lewick finally able to find some success here in the top of the first inning after allowing the first two hitters to get on base via a single to the 6-5 gap. The hitter will now be Zeke Minnick. Reese Lewick looking in. Marcus Rosales crashing at the bag yet again, but the timing just a little bit off. See those plays quite a lot in college baseball. You'd like to imagine Gavin Taylor behind home plate is maybe giving a sign to his pitcher and second baseman, telling them to crash in order to get that pickoff attempt as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they don't want Barber to be able to go anywhere. As you can see with that hit run, and he tries to steal third. They're trying to keep him close on the base paths.
Next pitch is swung on deep in the air, but foul. Right by the UNLV clubhouse, down that right field line. We'll do it again.
This Bears offense is looking very aggressive at the plate. They're just swinging at everything. They're not taking too many pitches. They're just trying to, with two on, they're just trying to make as much as they can with this opportunity they've been given here in the first.
The 0-1 pitch from Lewick, not going to find the zone, misses outside. Gavin Taylor doing a great job to read that off-speed pitch all the way through, not let it get to the backstop here. Runner in scoring position here for Northern Colorado. And again, we opened up the broadcast really talking about what is Northern Colorado going to do? How are they going to open up this season looking for their first win? And it seems as though they've got the plan in place here. Another pitch outside for a ball, now makes it 2-1 the count. Hustle Rebels are probably itching to get back into that dugout. As you talked about it at the Sunday game, Ben, getting no hit throughout those first 6 or 7 innings. But then able to find the bats come alive just a little bit, but Santa Clara a little too far out of reach, and you'd like to imagine Santa Clara probably a little bit bitter from those first 2 games in the series. So I'd really like to imagine that those bats are still hot and that, first guys up are itching to get a base hit. And that pitch swung on and missed. 2 back-to-back strikeouts here for Reese Lewick. 3-2 count here.
Yeah, the UNLV offense was kind of struggling in that game, and they were finally able to put it together, but it was just too little too late. Offense was their batting lineup.
3-2 pitch swung on and missed. There's your back-to-back strikeouts from Reese Lewick, and he's definitely getting that groove right here. But going back to that Santa Clara series, yeah, you're absolutely right, Ben. The bat's not really hot in that game 3. We saw it in games 1 and games 2 where it seemed like every single, especially in game 1, Gavin Taylor, 2 strikes, 2 outs, able to poke that ball over the wall in left field of Santa Clara and able to send the Hustlin Rebels into extra innings and get the win in 10. But
Yeah,
yeah, that Sunday game, Santa Clara were just looking for anything, and a win is definitely something they'd be happy to leave with that. Logan Pruski finds himself in the batter's box here for the Bears. First pitch he takes is a strike on the outer part of the zone. Quickly makes it 0-1 here. The 0-1 pitch from Lewick. Not going to find the zone. Trying to attack that same part of the zone. Not going to find it, according to home plate umpire Isaiah Barba. It'll be a 1-1 count here. Lewick takes a look at second. The pitch way outside this time. We'll go to 2-1 here.
yeah. With two outs here, the UNLV infield has shifted deeper towards the outfield grass, not worried about Barber there at first or at second trying to steal. So they're just gonna kind of let him have his lead.
Yeah, and we've seen from Gavin Taylor behind the dish this season that he's been able to throw a couple runners out at second base. So you'd like to imagine that the 90-foot throw to third would be much easier for him as he catches that one on the outer part of the zone for a strike. Now evens the count at 2-2 here.
Yeah, well, but as you know, since you played baseball, you never want to make that last out at third base. So I think Barber's in no hurry to get over to third.
The 2-2 pitch from Lewick. Runner's going to take off from second. It's high in the air. Left fielder Jack Salmon stepping back, tracking it down and into the glove for the final out of the inning. Reese Lewick able to get out of a two runners on situation in the top of the first inning. It's still a 0-0 ball game as we head into the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first inning here at Early Wilson Stadium. Jaden Hurdle going to lead things off here for the Hustlin Rebels. Finds himself in the designated hitter's position. First pitch he sees just going to miss the outer part of the zone for a strike. It's a 1-0 count here on Hurdle. Lucas Stone, the brother of Jaden Stone, finds himself on the bump here for Northern Colorado. The lefty gets his pitch through his windup, misses inside. Now 2-0 here on Hurdle. So Ben, for a guy like Hurdle, who obviously doesn't really see the starting lineup as much as other guys in the rotation, what do you think the mindset is for him now that he finds himself not only in the starting lineup but as a DH and as the leadoff hitter here?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him here. He's simply looking either to draw a walk, he's got the 2-1 count, he's heading the count, or simply get on base, or even just make the pitcher throw a few extra pitches, kind of allow the UNLV offense to kind of settle in.
The 2-1 pitch swung on right back up the middle to the pitcher, Stone. He fields it cleanly, throws it over to his first baseman for the first out of the inning. Jake Bullard of the Bears doing a great job handling that one. And it'll go down as an out as Marcus Rosales steps up to the plate here. And Ben, I honestly can't speak highly of this 2-3-4 we've got going on in this game. Marcus Rosales, Drew Berrigan, and Nin Burns II, arguably the three hottest hitters on this UNLV Hustlin Rebels lineup. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, this team's got this part of the lineup has such good chemistry. You know, their roommates Berrigan and Burns, and they're able to get on base consistently, and they're able to kind of hit themselves around and drive themselves in.
Yeah, they really have been just feeding off of each other's energy each and every single game. As the 1-0 pitch from Rosales is not going to find the zone, it makes it 2-0 here. But I mean, even Rosales, we talked about kind of his stature in games prior, and while he may not be the biggest guy out on the field, he has a lot of power in that bat. The 2-0 pitch to Rosales is going to miss yet again. It's 3-0 here. Rosales doing a good job working the count. Rosales, one of the leaders in hit by pitches for the Hustlin Rebels, really crowds that plate. The 3-0 pitch almost hits him as I'm talking about it, and he'll take his free base.
Batting third for the Hustlin Rebels, the third baseman, number 5, Drew Berrigan.
Yeah, Rosales he's got a good on base percentage. He's able to get on base consistently. Draws his 10th walk of the season, and that brings up Drew Berrigan with an opportunity to drive in a run.
Yeah, and as you were just talking about, again, it just feels like Berrigan and Nin Burns, especially the guys on the on-deck circle right now, they just feed off of each other's energies. As Rosales getting a jumpy lead over at first base, Drew Berrigan takes his first pitch for a strike, 0-1 the count here.
Yeah, we've seen Rosales steal 4 bases on 4 attempts. We could definitely see him try to steal second in this opportunity with the way the infield's shifted.
Rosales dancing around at first. Berrigan swung on and fouls the next pitch. He now draws an 0-2 count here. One of the guys that is very interesting to me on this Hustlin Rebels lineup is Jack Salmon. We're going to see him in a couple at-bats, but Jack Salmon really is a guy who's moved all around the order. He started off the season hitting first, and now kind of finds himself hitting in that 7-8 spot most of the time. Tonight it will be that 7th spot, just after Cooper Sheff and before the catcher Gavin Taylor. And another kind of big surprise in the lineup, Gunnar Myro. Going to be the starting center fielder for the Hustlin Rebels. The 0-2 pitch to Berrigan, outside, 1-2. Berrigan doing a great job at the plate here, trying to find his Rosales desperately looking to grab second base as Berrigan fouls that one back. We'll do it again at 1-2 here. Lefty pitcher on the bump here for the Bears. Definitely hard for Rosales to get a read, but it definitely looks like he wants to grab that second base bag.
Yeah, with the lefty there, he's got the quick motion over to first. You don't want to get caught sleeping.
Yeah, and there's that motion right there. Pickoff attempt, but he's able to get back safely, not too far from the bag, not dancing around just yet.
No, Rosales is definitely antsy over there to get over to second.
The 1-2 pitch to Berrigan. Stone. Oh, and he has Rosales down in a pickoff attempt, and he's going to be tagged out over at second base. I mean, we were just talking about it, Ben. Rosales looked so desperate to get over to the second base bag, and Stone able to pick him off on first.
Yeah, just not the right situation to steal second there in a 1-2 count with Berrigan. You want Berrigan to be able to see a few more pitches before there's already 2 outs.
Yeah, and now he's stuck with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. Lucas Stone doing a great job for the Bears there in order to get out of the inning. Gives up the walk to Marcos Rosales, is able to pick him off, and the very next pitch is able to strike out Drew Berrigan. Still nothing ball game as we enter the second inning. Second inning here in beautiful Las Vegas, a clear night under the lights here at Early Wilson Stadium. It'll be Ethan Mooser stepping into the box here for the Bears. Reese Lewis still up on the mound. First pitch to Mooser is going to be swung on over the head of Rosales for another leadoff base hit here for the Bears.
Bears are looking very aggressive here. Luke already at 24 pitches. Already faced 5 batters. Not the situation he wants himself in starting another inning.
No, absolutely not. And we did mention it in the previous inning that we've seen this from Lewick before, where he'd get into a little bit of trouble to start off his day, but usually finds that rhythm and hones in on that rhythm until the very end of his outing. But this time around, we're starting the same way as we did in the first. Sam Peace up to the plate now. First pitch off speed, finding the inside part of the zone for a strike. It's now 0-1.
You were talking about how Luke is constantly in trouble. Well, some pitchers are just they work better under pressure. There's a couple of runners on, and maybe that's how Luke is.
Yeah, that's a great point. As the 0-1 pitch is swung on, going to be a dribbler right in front of the catcher's plate. Gavin Taylor and Reese Luke, a bit of miscommunication there from them. They both kind of backed away from the ball at similar points in time, and it'll go down as a base hit. Sam Priest and Ethan Mooser now on base here. Mooser, 180 feet from scoring. It'll be Mason Griffin now batting for the Bears. And I mean, 3 pitches here in the second inning, and it's just looking very similar to what we saw in the first. Lewick was able to respond with back-to-back strikeouts, then that fly out to Jack Salmon. So here's hoping that he can find some of that success here. Bunt shown, quickly pulled back, but an off-speed pitch finds the outside part of the zone for a strike. It's 0-1 here.
Yeah, another situation where Luke comes in with there's 2 runners on. Mason trying to bunt.
A bunt attempt yet again, not going to find fair play. Trickles foul. Goes behind the hitter. So now a 0-2 count here. Great spot for Lewick. As the Bears not able to get the bunt down. I mean, we talked about what it was going to take for the Bears to try and, capture their first win of the season. And when it comes to the small ball stuff like that, as that ball is drilled high, deep into the air, Ninburn's going back to the warning track, able to make the catch off the wall, throws it into Cooper Chef. The runner from second is going to advance. Mooser now finds himself 90 feet from scoring, but Priest stays on first base. Runners on the corners here, as Brian Kenny is going to be the batter up here. Yeah, a long, high pop fly there. Fly ball, I should say, over to Nin Burns in right field. Doesn't really look like there's a whole lot of wind there. It just kind of seemed like it was in the air for such a long time. Nin Burns going back and back and back on it, able to read the wall, time his jump, get the ball, get it in, especially not allowing both runners to score, only one. First pitch from Lewick finds the strike zone. 0-1 quickly here. Lewick trying to get the dirty work done here after giving up those 2 base hits to start off this inning, much like he did in the first. The 0-1 pitch just about finds the outer part of the zone for another strike. 0-2 here. And Ben, you mentioned how there are some pitchers that really like to perform under that kind of pressure, and you're absolutely right. Reese Lewick comes across those guys that's really just very composed, likes that kind of pressure, really tries to stay as composed as possible. His 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Great answer back there from Lewick. Quickly 2 down here in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, Lewick really doing good stuff with his pitches right there. He also knows that he's got fielders behind him, and he's not afraid to pitch to contact and try to get one of those ground ball outs.
Yeah, ground ball in that situation with 1 out probably wouldn't have fared well for him. Northern Colorado surely would have scored a run on the ground ball. As a pickoff attempt to first, not going to be in time, keeping the runner on his toes. That's Prees diving back safely over at first.
Yeah, Lewick has to be careful there for picking off at first, especially with a runner on third. You don't want to let that ball get away and then run scores.
The batter now is Brett Barber. He already has a base hit today. That pitch finds the outer part of the zone for a strike. Reese Lewick really abusing the outer part of the zone here, Ben.
Yeah, Taylor's also doing a great job framing it. He's not reaching too far out across the plate to where he has to then sell it. He's able to just slightly move his glove out, and he's able to frame that perfectly.
Off-speed pitch swung on right back up the middle. Northern Colorado on the board first. Brett Barber, RBI single here in the second inning. It's a 1-0 ball game to the Bears.
Yeah, just right up the middle. Lewick trying to just pass his outstretched glove infield, playing off the second base bag because there's no one on, and that just gets up the middle for an RBI.
So Mason Griffin's at bat, that fly out to right field, turned out to be very beneficial, as I don't believe the runner would have been able to score from second, as the new hitter Jaden Stone finds himself down in the count 0-1 after a Reese Lewick strike, outer part of the zone. Runners taking their leads on first and second. The pitch from Lewick swung on over to the first baseman, Johnny Rodriguez. He almost thought about throwing it to second base. I don't think he knew how many outs there was, but quickly retreated it. He saw Cooper Chef was nowhere near the bag. Cooper Chef expecting him to do the PFP play with his pitcher, Reese Lewick. They eventually do that. Reese Lewick able to get the tip of his foot on the bag just before the runner, Stone, is able to touch it and records the third out of the inning. Run has already come across for Northern Colorado. They find themselves up by a run, 1-0, as we head into the bottom of the second inning. Bottom of the second inning here for your Hustlin Rebels. They find themselves down a run here against Northern Colorado, who already have 5 hits in today's ball game. Nin Burns the second up to bat here for the Rebels. First pitch he sees is outside for a ball. Lucas Stone still wheeling and dealing for the Bears. Stone just saw his brother Jaden ground out to Johnny Rodriguez. An interesting play there. Ben and I, you were talking about it in the mid inning there, that it looked very close, maybe a little bit reviewable there. You said that you were kind of shocked that the umpires didn't come together to discuss.
Yeah, the hesitation by Rodriguez to look at second base could have cost them an out because it was just that close over at first. I personally thought it was worth taking a look.
It's now 1-1 here on Burns. The pitch from Stone high for a ball now makes it 2-1. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Johnny Rodriguez, again, I mentioned it just before the break there. It didn't really look like he knew how many outs there were. Looks like he was trying to turn that double play, thinking that there was only 1 out. And to be fair, I don't really blame them. Kind of got those 2 outs very quickly there in the top half of the second inning after Reese Luke allowed 2 base runners on. Obviously, the fly out and the strikeout from Griffin and Kenny, respectively.
Yeah, it's always a dangerous thing with the infielders when you forget how many outs there are. There just needs to be a better communication on the field throughout the fielders.
3-1 pitch to Nin Birds outside for a ball. Takes his free base here, and Hustlin Rebels have another runner on thanks to a walk. We saw Marcos Rosales able to get on last inning, but he was unfortunately picked off during Drew Bergen's at bat, and then obviously the very next pitch struck out swinging. But it'll be Johnny Rodriguez to step up to the plate here.
If you're Burns over at first, you're not trying to replicate what happened to Rosales over in the first. So you're not taking too big of a lead in hope so you're not going to get picked off again.
That pitch finds the outer part of the zone for a strike, and you definitely like to think that maybe the base coaches kind of have a bit of a debriefing with their guys, talking about, hey, this is a lefty, and as we just saw last inning, he's got some good pickoff material. So don't be caught sleeping over there at first base. And there it is right there, another pickoff attempt, but Nin Burns reads it excellently and is able to get back standing up this time. To be fair, we did see that from Marcos Rosales last inning, and he still managed to get picked off. So just because you read it once doesn't mean that you're set for the rest of the at-bat. The 0-1 pitch here to Rodriguez in the dirt for a ball, evens it up at 1-1.
Yeah, his pickoff attempts, he hides it in his windup. As we can see, he steps towards home plate when he pitches. He just slightly steps towards first when he picks off, and so it's tough for the hitters or the fielders.
That pitch swung on and missed from Rodriguez. A 1-2 count here, and you're absolutely right. And I'm sure that the Hustlin Rebels would love to have you in their dugout tipping the signs like that, Ben. Anything to gain the advantage, especially on a lefty. It's hard to read off those pickoff attempts. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Rodriguez, swung on and missed.
Yeah, Rodriguez just swinging out of his shoes right there. I think he decided he was going to swing before the pitch was even coming. That pitch was way outside. He had no business even swinging at that. And
yeah, it looked like he was trying to catch up to that off-speed pitch and not able to find it on the outer part of the zone. Cooper Chef now digs in to the batter's box. Cooper Chef with a very good performance in that Santa Clara series. A pickoff attempt from Stone, not going to find Burns on the bag. Yeah, I was kind of wondering when Chef's bat was going to get hot. And that Santa Clara series really proved to be the perfect case for him.
Yeah, perfect time to the bat, especially going into conference play here in just a little over a week and a half.
First pitch he sees is low and outside for a ball. 1-0 the count here on Chef. Finds himself over at the shortstop position this year. Last year as a freshman, constantly was at the hot corner over at third base. As the off-speed pitch from Stone, not going to find the zone, makes it 2-0 here.
Yeah, it's always a tough adjustment moving over from third to short. Usually you see a shortstop to third base adjustment, but you really never see them go third to short. And we've seen his defensively, he's been on point so far this season.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many blunders from Cooper Chef, and honestly, that's just the kind of player he is. He's just so reliable at any position, and I'm sure that if Coach Stan Stolte wanted to put him out in the outfield, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do that and trust in his guy in order to get the job done on the fly balls, maybe track some balls up the wall. The 3-0 pitch to Chef just about finds the outer part of the zone.
Yeah, Chef was headed towards first on that one. That one looked outside, but the umpire decided against it.
Catcher for the Bears, Sam Peace, doing a good job of framing that one. Cooper Chef's got a couple of words for the home plate umpire as he thought it was outside, but the frame job there from the catcher, I think, is what got the job done. 3-1 pitch right down Broadway. Now makes the count full 3-2 here. Great performance here from Lucas Stone, working all the way back, giving himself an opportunity to get Chef out. Again, who's just been red hot at the plate. Pickoff attempt there from Stone. Again, Nin Burns hasn't quite had to dive to the ground yet on one of these pickoff attempts, so you'd like to imagine he's really reading this lefty well.
Yeah, Stone Lucas has d- has done a great job being efficient so far. He's only at 22 pitches so far. Faced 5 batters, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
He tries another pickoff attempt over at first base. Again, Nin Burns not diving back, just kind of casually sauntering over back to the bag. It's still a 3-2 count here on Chef. Stone gets his pitch, takes a look over at Burns. Here's the pitch, swung on a curveball. The third baseman gets it, fielded to the second baseman. The throw over to first, not in time. They're able to get the fielder's choice out on Nin Burns. Nin Burns doing the respectable move and getting out of the way of the second baseman's throw.
Batting seventh for left fielder.
That was a tailor-made double play for Kenny over there at third. He's able to field that ball cleanly, throw it over to Barber at second, and Barber's unfortunately unable to make that throw to first to complete the double play. Chef's just a little too fast, a little too quick on his feet to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of one of the benefits of having a lefty like Stone out on the mound, simply because it really kind of hones in on holding runners a little closer to the bag over at first base. That curveball that Cooper Chef hit was a slow roller down the third base line as that pitch from Jack Salmon is swung on, lifted high in the air. It's going to get by the shortstop. He's not able to handle the pop fly in shallow center field. Cooper Chef did a great job reading it, turns the corner from second, and now finds himself over at third base. Runners on the corner here on the bloop single from Jack Salmon.
Yeah, that ball was just floated into center field, and Pruski is the only one who can field that ball. He's got his back towards home plate, and the wind just knocked that one down, and he's unable to make the play.
Yeah, one of those awkward angles there for the second baseman. It's not quite deep enough for one of your outfielders to call you off, so you know you're going to be the one to try and make that play. And honestly, if you're not going to hone into the art style of Willie Mays getting that basket catch over your shoulder, then honestly, there's not really a lot of hope for you trying to catch that ball. A difficult play there, like you said, Pruski trying to do his best to get the out, but there's still 2 down here as Gavin Taylor steps up to the box. The first pitch he sees swung on and missed. Quickly makes it 0-1.
Yeah, Pruski does just a great job keeping that ball in front of him and not allowing Burns to score. Excuse me, Chef.
Gavin Taylor, the savior in game 1 against Santa Clara, down to his last pitch, just kind of flings his arm out. Looked like he was just going to kind of drop for a base hit. It ends up going over the wall with a runner on, down 2. Game-tying home run sent the Hustlin Rebels into extra innings, and from there they went on to tack on another run in the top of the 10th and then went to win that game. 1-1 pitch, not going to find the zone. It drops in front of the catcher. Jack Salmon thought he could try and snag second base from him, but now he's caught in a pickle. Now Cooper Chef is going to take off the home plate. He's safe. Great piece of base running there from the Hustlin Rebels. Not sure if Jack Salmon did that on purpose. He saw the ball get away from the catcher for the Bears. That's Sam Peace behind the dish. Jack Salmon getting a little bit of a bigger lead there. Sam Peace picking up the ball, throwing it to his second baseman, getting him in a pickle, but that allowed Cooper Chef to get home from third base.
That was a well executed, unintentional double steal. Salmon going towards second. He's able to draw out the throw, which allows Chef to kind of come in and score that run.
Yeah, the second baseman, Brett Barber, didn't have his eyes on Jack Salmon at all. I mean, he was looking at Cooper Chef the entire way, looking over at that third base bag, thinking, okay, when is he going to go? When is he going to go? When is he going to go? And Cooper Chef, being the smart base runner that he is, as soon as he let that ball go, took off. Throw was a little bit errant, and Jack Salmon was able to get his 90 feet as well. Gavin Taylor's got a 3-1 count on him here. The pitch just misses the zone up and away. A free base here for Gavin Taylor. And it'll be Gunnar Myro stepping up to the batter's box here.
Yeah, we haven't seen Myro too much this season. He's had very small, very limited opportunities, and he played center field in his last game of the Santa Clara series.
Yeah, we talked about it before the broadcast, kind of seeing Gunnar Myro in the starting lineup as the first pitch he sees is off speed, catching the corner for a strike. You like to imagine that it is to kind of give the guys a little bit of a rest. Obviously, Jaden Sanchez and Reggie Bussey always found themselves in that starting lineup and, kind of tiring themselves out a little bit. I mean, Reggie Bussey's number has just been absolutely electric to start the season. As the 1-0 pitch gets by the catcher for the Bears, and both runners will advance 90 feet. An errant throw there from Stone. We haven't really seen too many of those, but honestly, recently with these last couple of batters, we've seen a couple balls in the dirt. His catcher Peace able to do a job of staying in front of them, but this time around, that one just gets by him, and it looks like there's going to be a replacement of some catcher shin guards here. You don't see this too often, Ben.
No, it seems like Pease got crossed up there a little bit, completely misread that ball, thought it was going to bounce. It just skipped right on underneath him, and the runners are able to advance.
Peace getting latched up. Obviously, the catcher's gear has to be color coordinated. You mentioned it as well that, the Bears are kind of repping these Milwaukee Brewers jerseys going on. Obviously, the navy blue and gold, the stylish Northern Colorado colors here. Very reminiscent of the team in Milwaukee. It's a 1-1 pitch here on Myro. Outside and away. Again, another errant throw. Good job there from Peace and able to get his glove out to it. But it's 2-1 here.
Yeah, Stone struggling to find the strike zone. Myro in a prime opportunity to drive some balls in. Stone potentially could make a mistake, which could allow Myro to gain that advantage and drive in 2 runs.
Two and one the count here on Myro. But yeah, going back to his substitution into the lineup here for guys like Jaden Sanchez and Reggie Bussey, we've got that Minnesota tournament coming up this weekend and some big matchups there for the Hustlin Rebels. Big Ten competition like Minnesota and Northwestern. And honestly, Southern Illinois, in my opinion, are somewhat of a sleeping giant. They did really good in conference play last year, and that's probably one of the 3 games, one of the ones that I'm, shockingly more excited for as Gunnar Myro's able to draw the walk there, and its bases loaded here for the one hitter, Jaden Hurdle. We kind of talked about it on his first at bat about what this kind of means for Jaden Hurdle to be in a position like this where he is the leadoff hitter. And I mean, now not only is he that leadoff hitter, but he's got bases loaded here. Great opportunity for the Rebels to get ahead after giving up the tied ball game in the top half of this inning. Stone has his pitch through his windup. Outside, not a strike. 1-0 here on Hurdle. He grounded out to the pitcher on his first outing last inning. The 1-0 pitch to Hurdle. Curveball finds the zone. Now 1-1 here. Been in a position like this as a guy who doesn't really see the starting lineup so much. What do you think's going through Hurdle's mind right here?
And he's just trying to put the bat to the ball. He's not really been given too many opportunities to start in this game. And with this opportunity here leading off, he's just looking to do as much damage as he can and showcase his skill.
Stone's 1-1 pitch goes way inside. Hurdle able to get his body out of the way of it. 2-1 count here. 2 outs. Jack Salmon, the base runner on third. Gavin Taylor on second. Gunnar Meyer on first. Here's the pitch outside. 3-1.
Yeah, Hurdle's now in a hitter's count, 3-1. Stone has to make a good pitch or else he risks walking Hurdle and there's nowhere to put him on.
Here's the 3-1 pitch from Stone. Outside and up. It's another walk. This time it'll be an RBI here for Hurdle as Marcos Rosales steps into the batter's box. But before that, it'll be one of the coaches for Northern Colorado stepping out to have a word with his pitcher. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of action going on in Northern Colorado, so this just seems more like a talk with his guys rather than a pitching change. But now you have Rosales, one of the hotter bats on the team, stepping into the plate. And, with Rosales' approach, you either are going to get one of two things in this situation. You're going to get a nice base hit that splits one of the infield gaps, or this ball's going 20 feet over the fence.
Yeah, Stone's already walked 5 batters so far. You don't want to walk a 6th batter. Rosales is going to put the pressure on Stone, throw strikes.
Yes, Salmon was the runner that came in there on the walk. Umpire, make sure to tell us here in the press box that is one of the 6 mound visits that Northern Colorado have used in today's game. Hustlin Rebels find themselves up 2-1 here in the bottom of the second inning. 2 outs, bases loaded. Marcos Rosales, the hitter, first pitch is going to get by the catcher. Gavin Taylor rushing into home plate. He's going to score upstanding and quickly gets back into the dugout. One of those cartoonish runs from Taylor.
Yeah, that just hit off the glove of Pease. He's unable to handle it. And that almost actually went out of play and allowed another run to score, but Pease is able to get to it quickly enough so where it doesn't roll into the UNLV dugout.
Now we're seeing some action down the left field line in that Northern Colorado bullpen. And again, we were kind of wondering ourselves, Ben, just how Northern Colorado have managed to find themselves in an 0-12 situation to start the season. That series against New Mexico wasn't necessarily too far away from them. They had a couple of close games with the Lobos, but I feel like this inning alone, we're kind of seeing what has gone wrong for Northern Colorado to start the season. I mean, Stone was doing a great job last inning, saw 3, put down all 3. But this time around, it's just giving up the free base a little too much, and the Hustlin Rebels are taking advantage. It's a 2-0 pitch here on Rosales. That's not going to find the zone. Now 3-0 here on Rosales, the 2-hitter. He's got 2 runners in scoring position. Gunnar Meyer on third. Jaden Hurdle on second. Lucas Stone, the pitcher for the Bears, trying to find some success here. Has his pitch, comes set. The 3-0, up and away again, another walk. It'll be Drew Berrigan coming up to the plate here.
And this looks like that'll be it for Stone as the manager is coming out.
Yeah, I honestly feel for whatever pitcher is going to be coming into this situation, because not only are you coming into this with a bases loaded jam, but it didn't really look like the bullpen was really that active until a few minutes ago. So it seems as though that, the pitcher for Northern Colorado coming in is arguably going to be as hot as he can possibly be, but not the ideal situation that Northern Colorado wants to be in. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the second inning, 2 outs, a pitching change on the mound. We'll see you when he's pitcher now warmed up here for Northern Colorado in the bottom of the second inning. 3 runners have already crossed here for the Hustlin Rebels. Now makes it a 3-1 ball game. Drew Berrigan, the batter, first pitch he sees off speed, down and away. 1-0 the count here. The new pitcher will be the right-handed sophomore Tate Smith. Up on the bump here for the Bears. The 1-0 pitch swung on right back up the middle for Berrigan. It splits the 6-4 gap. 1 run is going to score. Here comes Hurdle for 2. It's a 5-1 ball game here in the bottom of the second inning. Great piece of hitting there from Drew Berrigan.
Yeah, a solid hit up the middle by Berrigan. It's exactly what we saw against Reese Lewick in the top half of the inning, and Burns is just able to kind of, as you say, split that gap where there's no one able to even field that ball, and 2 runs come in.
We've been talking about Drew Berrigan and now this hitter, Nin Burns, the second as well, and that energy that they feed off of one another. And honestly, here's a prime position for Nin Burns. Marcos Rosales finds himself over at third base now. Drew Berrigan got held up at first. Runners on the corner here, 2 outs. The first pitch to Burns off speed, not going to find the inner part of the zone. He'll start at 1-0 here. New pitcher Smith trying to get his team back into the dugout here. A 5 spot here in the second inning so far. There have been 2 outs for the last 7 batters. Nin Burns was the one that started off this inning with a walk. Johnny Rodriguez behind him struck out swinging. And Cooper Chef had that fielder's choice over on second base that got Nin Burns out on the base path. It's a 2-1 count here on Burns. The pitch swung on, lifted high and deep into center field. Center fielder giving chase from the Bears, able to track it down and catches it as he falls to the floor at the warning track. What a play there from the Bears center fielder, Mason Griffin, able to track that one down and stop the bleeding for now here for Northern Colorado. But that's not before a 5 spot is put up for your Hustlin Rebels in response to the 1 run scored in the top of the second inning. We'll go to the third as your Hustlin Rebels find themselves with a 4-run lead. Five-one ball game here in the top of the third inning. Reese Lewick still wheeling and dealing for the Hustlin Rebels. First batter he's going to face of the inning is Jake Bullard. Sees an off-speed pitch outside for a strike. Now 0-1 here. The 0-1 pitch from Lewick outside again, but doesn't quite catch the zone this time. Now evens the count at 1-1. Ben, we've been kind of talking about the momentum that Reese Lewick kind of likes to get into, where he'll struggle a little bit to start off the game, but quickly finds his groove. You like to imagine that that groove will be right about here, don't you think?
Yeah, he was able to get to that last inning pretty quickly. Gotten a little bit of trouble, gave up the run, but he's able to find his footing, and I think he can finally after the way he ended that second inning, I think he's finally found his footing on his pitches, and we'll see him pitch even farther into this ball game.
Jake Bullard finds himself with a 2-2 count here, struck out swinging, and his first time up. This next pitch swung on and fouled to the netting. Quickly makes it 2-2 yet again. This is probably the best start to an inning that Lewick has had so far in this game. The 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled. Gavin Taylor not able to hold on to that one. We'll go again at 2-2 here.
Bullard.
Jake Bullard really trying to battle for his base.
Yeah, Bullard not wanting to be put away early. He's just trying to make as much as he can with what he's been given. He's just fouling off pitches, trying to work up that pitch count and get farther into this at bat.
The 2-2 pitch from Lewick swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch at 75 miles an hour from the big 3-0 on the mound. Has the first out of the inning here on a swinging strikeout. Jake Bullard's second of the game.
Great off-speed pitch, really throwing Bullard something he wasn't expecting, and that just has really good movement. Bullard unable to put bat to ball there, as that just kind of slid out from his bat.
The new hitter stepping in is Zeke Minnick as the first pitch going to get by the catcher Gavin Taylor for a ball. Now 1-0 here. First batter retired to lead off the inning. Getting had those two singles off the bats of Barber and Mooser. Mooser ended up coming all the way around to score as that pitch swung on and missed. Now 1-1 here. Mooser acting as the only run in the game for the Bears. But again, a 5-spot put up there from the Hustlin Rebels to answer back, and honestly answer back in a way that Northern Colorado probably had in a hope for a lot of walks in the bottom of the second. 1-1 pitch, checked his swing, didn't quite come all the way around. It'll be 1-2 here. Lewick gets his pitch, threw his windup outside for a ball, now 2-2.
Yeah, Luke showing great control of his pitches. Yeah, it's 2-2, but he's got really good command of his fastball and that off-speed stuff. We could see that could be a setup pitch for this next one.
That pitch swung on foul down the third base line. Obviously, Bullard and Minnick both struck out swinging in the first inning. Do you think that builds confidence for Reese Lewick out on the mound, knowing that these are guys that he's already struck out in the game already?
Yeah, you know that they don't have it. They have no answer for what you're throwing at them, so you can just kind of throw whatever you feel like.
2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Zeke Minnick goes down on strikeouts for the second time tonight. It'll bring up Logan Prusey, the 5-hitter, to try and get someone on base this inning for Northern Colorado. It'll be the first inning that they don't actually get anyone on base if Prusey isn't able to find the field or draw a walk.
Yeah, as I was saying, they have no answer for him. They're uncomfortable at the plate. They're simply just swinging to swing, and Lewick can kind of take advantage of that and throw whatever he feels.
First pitch from Lewick swung on and missed. So it actually got a little bit of Prusky's bat there for a foul. Still an 0-1 count regardless here. But yeah, Prusky with a big swing there. Definitely trying to put the ball somewhere on this very open field here at Early Wilson Stadium. And I mean, we see that a lot in the Mountain West. A lot of the stadiums, especially teams like New Mexico and San Jose State, they've got those big wide open fields that really makes it a hitter friendly ballpark. The only downside here at Early Wilson Stadium is that wind can pick up from time to time. A 1-1 pitch from Lewick, swung on, lifted high and foul. As we're looking over to that right side, caught a glimpse of the moon, completely full. I do believe there was an eclipse, either early this morning or yesterday night, that was visible here in Sin City, making the moon a bit of a red color instead of its typical white. Ball's driven right back up the middle. It'll go down as a base hit. Logan Pruski doing a great job waiting for his pitch, finally gets it and drives it right back up the middle. We've seen that be the commonplace here for Northern Colorado getting their hits. Cooper Chef really getting his work in today.
Yeah, Chef was just playing a little too far towards the third base bag. He put a good effort hustling. He's just unable to make the play. And it's a runner on first.
It'll be the lefty Ethan Mooser stepping into the box here. He's got a runner on base. Lewick's first pitch inside for a ball makes it 1-0. Ethan Mooser did have success at the plate last inning, was able to not only get that base hit, but come all the way around to score. Taylor giving the signs out to Lewick. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lifted high into left center field. Jack Salmon racing back, giving track, starts to jog, and easily makes the catch. Love seeing that from the left fielder, Jack Salmon. Makes it easier for us, being a little bit less stressed. And he's able to make the final grab for the third out of the inning. 5-1 ball game as we head into the bottom of the third inning. Bottom half of the third inning here at Early Wilson Stadium. You're watching UNLV baseball on the UNLV Student Broadcasting YouTube account. It'll be Johnny Rodriguez to lead things off here. Struck out swinging his first time up last inning. First pitch he sees swung on and fouled right back into his leg. He'll start with an 0-1 count. An exciting night here for UNLV athletics. UNLV baseball kicked off just after the 6 o'clock mark here against Northern Colorado. And over at the Thomas and Mack, UNLV Runnin' Rebels taking on the Utah State Aggies, arguably the favorites to win the Mountain West tournament this year.
Yeah, UNLV's last home game. The fans can potentially get to see two really good ball games here. Go to this start the evening off with the baseball game and end it off with a good basketball game.
Johnny Rodriguez swings and flies that ball into left field, down for a hit. Takes the turn around first base, and he's going to stay there for his base hit single.
Now batting the shortstop, number 24.
Johnny Rodriguez found himself down 0-2 in that count, just like he did last inning, able to right those wrongs from the first pitcher he faced in Lucas Stone, able to get the base hit on the new pitcher from last inning, Tate Smith. So a runner's on here for Cooper Chef. Cooper Chef in his last at bat had that fielder's choice over towards the second baseman. First pitch he sees, not going to find the zone. It's now 1-0. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Just a perfect night for it here on the UNLV campus. Like you said, feel free to come out, watch, a good chunk of the game here. Definitely get to at least halfway through the game, you'd like to imagine. And then feel free to walk on over across campus to the Thomas and Mack. Running Rebels tips off at 8 o'clock tonight. It's a 1-1 count here on Cooper Chef. The pitch from Smith in the dirt. Oh, actually, didn't quite catch the dirt. Priest doing a good job of locating it in order to keep it from going to the backstop. Would have certainly been a free base for Rodriguez there.
Yeah, ball just seemed to slip out of Tate's hand right there. Just sort of yanked it over to that offhand side, and he's able to make a good save behind the dish.
It's a 3-1 count here on Chef. Free base looms over. Smith gets his pitch, comes set through the windup, outside for a walk. That's the 6th walk issued by these Northern Colorado pitchers so far in today's game. And it brings up Jack Salmon. Jack Salmon being the second runner to cross home plate in today's game for the Hustlin Rebels, right behind Cooper Chef, who now finds himself over on first. Johnny Rodriguez takes his lead on second. Smith, the pitcher, takes a look back, now comes through his windup, the pitch in the dirt for a ball on Salmon. It's 1-0.
Yeah, the Bears pitchers can't seem to find the strike zone, and UNLV definitely wants to take advantage of this. They already scored. They already put up a 5-spot last inning. They want to score even more, pad that lead, because you never know what can happen.
The 1-0 pitch, not going to find that inner part of the zone like Smith had hoped. It'll be 2-0 here on Hurdle. And you're absolutely right. We saw that when given the free bases, UNLV do take advantage. Gavin Taylor had that free base. He was able to score. You can technically say that Cooper Chef on the fielder's choice kind of got a free base as well, not the throw not going over to first. Here's the 2-0 from Smith, outside, off speed. Another ball, now 3-0 to start this count for Jack Salmon.
Yeah, Rodriguez really over there at second base. He's really dancing. Got about halfway between second and third, trying to maybe draw a throw and hope that Pease, the catcher, can make an errant throw and allow
The
Rodriguez.
3-0 pitch outside and a 4-pitch walk issued to Jack Salmon. I mean, to be fair, if there's a guy that you want to pitch around, Jack Salmon is definitely one of the guys that sticks out on this Hustlin Rebels lineup. But it doesn't get easier dealing with Gavin Taylor, who's stepping up to the dish now, then Gunnar Myro in the on-deck circle, and then Jaden Hurdle in the hole.
Another bases loaded opportunity here for the Rebels. They're just looking to they're not looking to hit a home run. They're just looking to get a couple base hits, maybe a sac fly, drive in a run or two, and leave the inning with a bigger lead.
Coach for Northern Colorado is going to step out here and have a word with his pitcher. There is a little bit of action down the left field line in the Northern Colorado bullpen, but we saw in the last inning that the coach had a quick word with the starting pitcher, Lucas Stone, before he ended up pulling him out after the next batter. But I mean, we saw that last inning. It looked like Lucas Stone was really doing a job for the Bears. He did walk Nin Burns to start off the inning, but then that Johnny Rodriguez strikeout and then the Cooper Chef fielder's choice in order to get Nin Burns out, who is arguably the faster runner of the three. But then you have the single from Salmon, the walk from Taylor, the walk from Gunnar Myro, the walk from Jaden Hurdle, which actually brought in Gavin Taylor. And then he also walked Marcos Rosales as well, before Drew Berrigan came up and had that smack into center field in order to drive in 2 more. It does look like we're going to get a call to the bullpen here from Northern Colorado. Head coach for the Bears just not feeling it from his pitcher, Tate Smith, and it will call for a pitching change here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. A bases loaded spot for the Hustlin Rebels, hoping to get a couple of runs when we come back. Northern Colorado's new pitcher finally warmed up as Gavin Taylor digs his feet into the batter's box. First pitch he sees is low for a ball. Want to know the count here. Logan Borboa is going to relieve Tate Smith of his duties here in the third. We're basically getting a pitcher an inning here, Ben.
Yeah, the Bears pitchers just cannot keep up with this very disciplined UNLV lineup, and they're just having to switch pitchers. They're going to be constantly having to keep the Bears on their toes, especially with the pitching staff.
Gavin Taylor walked his first time up last inning, ended up coming all the way around to score, posed as the third run scored for the Hustlin Rebels as that pitch finds the inner part of the zone for a strike. Gavin Taylor didn't look too happy with that one, but kind of need to throw a bone for these Northern Colorado pitchers at this point in the game. The right-handed pitcher comes set. The pitch not going to find the zone. Now makes it a 3-1 count here on Taylor. And I mean, again, as a pitcher coming in with a bases loaded jam, yes, it's not the easiest thing to do. You have no outs, but the last thing you want to do right here is issue a walk.
Yeah, you just simply have to throw strikes. It's going to be a lose-lose situation. Even if you get weak contact, you're potentially still going to give up a run.
And a walk is exactly what he's going to give up. Gavin Taylor will record the RBI, and Johnny Rodriguez will come across home plate to score as it brings up Gunnar Myro, the 9-hitter, for the second time in 2 innings. I mean, UNLV really are just going through this order, all thanks to the free bases issued here in the third. Borboa comes set, an off-speed pitch outside and in the dirt. Peace doing a great job blocking that one. Keep it from going to the backstop. Cooper Chef on third, a green runner. Jack Salmon on second, another green runner. Gavin Taylor's got some wheels on him as well. He's on first. And not to mention, Gunnar Morrow's probably the quickest of the 4. Steps back in with a 1-1 count here against Borboa. Jaden Hurdle watches on from the on-deck circle as Borboa is going to step off here. Umpire signaling that that's his first of 2 step-offs he's allowed this at-bat. One of the new rules implemented in recent years, not only in D1 college baseball, but professional as well. The 1-1 pitch swung on right back up the middle. A double play ball here for Northern Colorado. Shortstop takes it himself at second, throws the ball over the first in time. Gunnar Myro. Double play there. But a run does score. Cooper Chef coming across home plate. Jack Salmon moves over to third base, but there are quickly 2 outs here for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, Myro might not be able to reach base in that situation, but he still gets the job done. He still drives in a run. A little risky by Pruski over there at short to take the ball to second himself. Might have even, if Myro had just gotten a little bit better of a jump, could have cost them an out.
Jaden Hurdle digs his feet in. He's 1 for 2 on the night so far. Excuse me, 0 for 1 on the night so far, I should say. As the first pitch he sees from Borboa is a strike, 0-1 here. Yeah, Jaden Hurdle has faced 3 different pitchers here. As he swings and misses at that one, quickly makes it 0-2. He started off the game facing Lucas Stone in the first. Then before his at-bat last inning, Stone was replaced by Tate Smith, and now he's dealing with Borboa on the bump. Not an easy spot for Jaden Hurdle tonight. The 0-2 pitch, off speed, finds the zone for a strike. Borboa able to get his team out of the inning after that double play from the bat of Gunnar Myro and then a looking strikeout against Hurdle. But the Hustlin Rebels do tack on a couple more runs there thanks to the free base. It's a 7-1 ball game. We'll see you in the 4th. Top of the fourth inning here as we slowly approach the 1.5 hour mark in tonight's game between your UNLV Hustlin Rebels and the Northern Colorado Bears. Northern Colorado Bears entering this game a lowly 0-12. Meanwhile, your Hustlin Rebels 9-3 coming off a 2-1 series win over the Santa Clara Broncos over the weekend. Jam-packed, filled with moments and exciting plays. The Hustlin Rebels come back here to early Wilson Stadium to face the Bears before they head out to Minneapolis this weekend. 3-day tournament in Minnesota between the Golden Gophers, the Northwestern Wildcats, and the Southern Illinois. You know the mascot for Southern Illinois, Ben?
No idea.
They're the Salukis. Southern Illinois Salukis. A type of dog, of course.
Yeah, big series for the Rebels coming up. Really gonna have to showcase their talents. Be a good early season battle for them.
1-2 pitch for Reese Lewick. The pitch swung on and missed. Strikeout swinging goes down Sam Priest there.
Next up, the center fielder, number 4, Mason Griffin.
Quickly one down here for Reese Lewick. We've seen Reese Lewick kind of get into his groove here. These last couple of innings, he started off tonight's game with 2 base hit singles to start off the first and second inning, respectively. But in the third, he started off with that swinging strikeout, and as we've just seen here in the fourth, another swinging strikeout. Northern Colorado have tacked on 6 runs, which is hard to believe in this game, as Reese Lewick seems pretty dominant out there as the new pitcher Griffin swings and misses at that one. It's a 1-1 count.
Yeah, really good to see Reese Luke find his footing here. And it's just not good for the Bears. They're just not able to kind of get comfortable in the batter's box and put together quality at bats.
His 1-1 pitch misses inside at 88 miles an hour. It'll be 2-1 here for Lewick. Mason Griffin 0 for 1 on the night. Had that long fly ball to right field over towards Nin Burns at the warning track, but Nin Burns, being the great defender that he is, able to track it down and catch it somewhat easily, honestly.
Yeah, Mason might not be doing anything on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, we saw him make a spectacular catch in center field where he was just twisting his body, kind of misplayed it a little bit, but was able to make up for that and make a nice diving catch.
Mason Griffin able to battle his way on with a walk, and it'll bring up Brian Kenny, the 9-hitter here for the Bears. Runner on first is Griffin. Lewick, even with these strong starts, these last couple of innings have let the base runners come on. First pitch to Kenny, checks his swing. The umpire's got him going. He's claiming that it hit his arm, but doesn't seem to be making a huge case about it. For me personally, Ben, if I'm getting hit on the arm like that, I'm taking off down the first base line. I'm not letting the umpire make the decision for me. I'm letting myself make the decision for the umpire.
Now, and Kenny's got to sell it just a little bit better. He doesn't make much of an effort to try to sell it.
Kenny on the next pitch, high fly ball into center field. Gunnar Myro coming in to make the catch and record the second out of the inning here. We'll go back to the top of the order here with Brett Barber, 2 for 2 on the day so far. Had that single in the first, another single in the second, which actually drove in a run. That run being the only run for Northern Colorado, as the runner's going to take off from first. The throw is in time, but the tag not so much. Marcus Rosales is still getting over to the bag. Gavin Taylor, not really too concerned on whether or not Rosales was on the bag or not. Just kind of threw it to where he knew where he was supposed to be. But Rosales playing a little bit deep in the middle infield. Maybe a bit of a scouting report here on Barber. I mean, we have seen him hit for some power here so far in tonight's game, but it's usually been towards that left side over where Cooper Chef is. Lewick takes a look back. It's going to get by the catcher. Gavin Taylor quickly comes up in order to field the ball, and now our runner's 90 feet away from scoring here for the Bears.
Yeah, that pitch just missed way outside for Lewick. Got past the catcher Taylor. Taylor unable to field that ball. Goes to the backstop. It's a good bounce for him. It bounces right back to him. But Griffin able to take third on that. Now there's a runner 90 feet away, and Luke with 2 outs here is not looking to strike the batter out, just looking to make just maybe get him to get a jam shot, get a little ground out, and get out of this inning.
It's a 1-1 count here on Barber, and it finds the zone for a strike. Now 1-2 here. Lewick trying to get out of the inning with no damage done, only a walk. Comes set. Through his windup. Here's the pitch. Upstairs for a ball. It evens the count at 2s. 2 outs as well. No other 2s, unfortunately. Runner could have been on second base had it not been for the passed ball.
Well, 4 is a multiple of 2.
That is true.
So
now the 2-2 off speed, not going to find the zone. Gavin Taylor reaches out into the dirt in order to grab it. Now a full count here. Brett Barber, again, he's one of the more dominant hitters on this Northern Colorado, and definitely his numbers were the ones that kind of spoke to me the most looking through the stat sheet. He's going to hit the next ball. He sees Cooper Chef coming over the field. The throw over to first in time. Johnny Rodriguez with the stretch. Great play there from the Hustlin Rebels. Cooper Chef able to right the wrongs that he's been facing with Brett Barber. Those 2 base hits over his head. Finally able to field one and record the out at first base. It's a 7-1 ball game as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning. Bottom of the 4th inning here, another pitching change from Northern Colorado. It'll be Reese Wagner relieving the duties of Logan Borboa here in the 4th inning. And not only that, but another defensive change as Jake Bullard, the starting first baseman, has been taken out and replaced by Easton Bryant, number 9 on the scorecard. The first pitch to Marcus Rosales, the 2-hitter, high and inside for a ball. Quickly makes it 1-0 here.
yeah, another pitching change for the Bears, putting a lot of stress on that bullpen with another game coming up. We'll have to see how many pitchers they use tonight and what pitchers will be available tomorrow night.
Oh, a 1-0 pitch swung on foul down the line and on top of the UNLV baseball clubhouse, evens the count at 1-1. And I don't have the scouting report in front of me, but you could almost assume that maybe this might be a bullpen day here for Northern Colorado in order to give their guys a bit of break from the series that they've had in these recent weeks, and maybe even go after the Hustlin Rebels in tomorrow's game with their good stuff, quote unquote. It's a 2-1 count here on Rosales. Pitcher Wagner comes set, high and inside again, 3-1.
I think there is some strategy with the bullpen, using the bullpen using a new pitcher from the bullpen every single inning. None of the hitters can get used to that pitcher, and by the time they got used to him, they're already seeing a new pitcher. But unfortunately, it's not working for the Bears as their players can't seem to find any.
That ball driven high and deep into the night sky here in Las Vegas, and it is gone over the left field wall. Marcos Rosales with an absolute blast here in the Las Vegas night. Ben, we've talked about Rosales' power throughout this season. It's on full display right here in that at-bat. Just an absolute nuke down the line. Left fielder for Northern Colorado, Jaden Stone, took a couple of steps back and knew, hey, this ball's way gone.
Yeah, he just got a middle off-speed pitch that just hung just a little bit enough for Rosales to drive that to deep left field. He didn't miss it. He knew it was coming. He was ready for it.
Drew Berrigan steps into the batter's box now. First pitch he sees low and outside for a ball, now 1-0. And I mean, already 8 runs recorded here in 4 innings. And Ben, unfortunately, I believe I overheard that there was not going to be a mercy rule in this series. It's a 1-1 count here on Berrigan. A curveball finds the outer part of the zone for a strike, now 1-2. And I mean, again, you look at the box score here for UNLV. Northern Colorado, 6 hits, UNLV only 4. And yet we find ourselves with a 7-run lead. 2-2 here on Drew Berrigan. Off-speed pitch yet again, not going to find the zone. It's now 3-2 here on Berrigan.
Yeah, that just dropped out of the zone. Berrigan wanted to swing at it. He's able to hold up, and he extends this count. Does that bat to 3-2?
Here's the 3-2 pitch outside for a ball, and it's another walk. I mean, you'd like to imagine that Rosales home run definitely may have affected that at bat just a little bit. It really gets into the mind of the pitcher, especially Wagner out there on the mound, that, hey, you know, a guy like Marcos Rosales just took me yard. I see a guy like Drew Berrigan, who we know is already hot. The last thing I want to do is give up another bomb here in the 4th.
Yeah, and although you pitched around Berrigan, you have the roommate coming up in Nin Burns. He's got power. He can get a hold of something. He's going to take it to deep left.
Yeah, great story there between the 2 roommates, Burns and Berrigan, residing over in the Degree. Bump into them time to time. I've seen Nin Burns a couple times walking out the elevator. Do the polite, how do you do? More often than not, he's usually heading over to practice. There's that gym inside of the complex as well. Might be getting a couple extra reps there, but they have such a beautiful weight room here on the premises in the clubhouse on that 2nd story. An interesting layout. They've got kind of the locker room clubhouse feels with the showers on the 1st floor. That 2nd floor is where you find the weight room, the batting cages. A setup that I've never really seen before on a college baseball field. Burns draws the count to 3-1 here.
Yeah, Burns not getting anything to hit here. He's not going to swing. He's probably been told don't swing unless it's 3-2, unless you have to.
3-1 pitch swung on and foul to the Northern Colorado dugout. It's now 3-2 here. 3-2, but no outs. It's been kind of the story here these last 2 innings for the Bears. They've gone into themselves into these jams so early in these innings that it's hard for them to record outs, even with runners on. The 3-2 pitch swung on, work back to the pitcher. What a crap, and the throw over to first is in time. Oh my goodness, Reese Wagner. What a play from the relief pitcher. I mean, that ball was scorched right off him. I thought it certainly would have hit him or something. It ends up finding his glove, and he has the awareness to quickly turn around, throw it over to first base, and get Drew Berrigan out.
He looked like prime Greg Maddux making that play right there. Great athleticism to get to get that ball and then and then throw it to first base. Great awareness. Just overall great play.
I mean, for a pitcher in that situation, I feel like you just kind of throw your glove up there and hope for the best. We see it a lot when it comes to those ground balls where pitchers are kind of protecting themselves by just throwing their glove out to see if they can maybe snag the ball. And on those kinds of situations is where it kind of trickles towards your second baseman and it disallows the double play from happening. But this time around, the glove was just perfectly placed and arguably saved his life. Rodriguez now in the batter's box, looping off speed pitch hits that outer part of the zone and evens the count at 1-1 here. The 1-1 pitch to Rodriguez off speed, not going to find the zone this time. Now 2-1. That's back-to-back innings here where we've seen a very clutch double play be turned here from the Bears, but this time the starting pitcher Reese Wagner said, "Hey, I've got this one by myself, guys."
Yeah, with that double play, we may potentially see him in the next inning if he can get out of this inning cleanly.
Pitch misses outside for a ball yet again. Now 3-1, and this has kind of been the tail of the tape here. Just a lot of pitches not quite finding the zone. I think, you're really getting into your head a little bit, missing those off-speed pitches. He's clearly got the stuff. That last fastball clocked in at 93 miles an hour. The 3-1 pitch swung on and fouled back off the bat of Rodriguez. He's looking to get on as clean as possible. Got that base hit last inning, came all the way around to score. This is now his third at-bat in 3 innings. Can you believe it, Ben?
No, I cannot. It's just been such a long game so far. A bunch of walks.
And speaking of walks, there's another one right there. 78-mile-an-hour curveball outside part of the zone, and Johnny Rodriguez is back on first base, his second time reaching safely in tonight's game. It'll be Cooper Chef. He's reached safely in every plate appearance so far in today's game, looking to replicate that success here. First pitch he sees inside for a ball, 1-0 the count. Yeah, I feel like that line out double play is, one of those big momentum shifters as Cooper Chef flies a ball high into the air but foul. Having a double play like that, getting your glove out to it, catching the ball, and again, just having the situational awareness to throw it over to first base is impressive stuff. Not a lot of pitchers would have been able to do that, even here at the Division I college baseball level. But Wagner does a good job as the ball's going to get by the catcher piece. And Rodriguez is going to find himself over at second base safely here. Another just mistake here from the Bears trying to close out this inning.
Yeah, that ball just skips off of P's glove, and Barber and Pruski, the shortstop, the second baseman and shortstop, not even bothering to go cover second base as they know that Rodriguez is going to be in there with plenty of time.
It's 2-1 on Cooper Chef as Wagner steps off. His first of the at-bat. Cooper Chef quick to dig his feet back into the batter's box. Wagner looks in, takes a look over at Johnny Rodriguez on second base. Here's the pitch, low and inside for a ball, 3-1 the count.
You have to wonder with another 3-ball count, you have to wonder what's going on with these Bears pitchers. Are they struggling to just kind of feel the ball, feel the seams, or what?
Cooper Chef drives one high and deep into right center field. Center fielder tracking back and making the catch. Mason Griffin, another good play, not as astounding as the one from last inning where he was up on the wall and falling down in order to make the grab, but still impressive by him tracking it down and recording the last out of the inning. Another run comes home off the bat of the fiery hot Marcos Rosales. We'll see you in the top of the 5th inning. 8-1 ball game here at early Wilson Stadium. Reese Lewick still on the bump here for your Hustlin Rebels as the first pitch to the new, not only hitter, Jaden Stone, referring to Easton Bryan, who's in the on-deck circle, getting his first at-bat of the day. As that off-speed pitch from Reese Lewick finds the outside part of the zone for a strike, 1-1 to count.
Yeah, Luke been very efficient so far in this game. Now 74 pitches through 4 innings, only one run given up.
Foul ball down the left field line. It's now 1-2.
As these Bears hitters are unable to make quality at bats, and they're just going up and then they're coming back down.
Yeah, and a great opportunity for Lewick to kind of keep his strikeout composure in these leadoff spots against the Bears. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on, lifted into left field. It's going to drop for a base hit in front of Salmon. Salmon quickly picks up the ball and fires it in before Stone has any ideas of reaching second. It'll go down as a base hit single.
Yeah, Salmon able to make a good hustle play on that ball. He's able to keep it in front of him, not allow it to get past him and roll all the way to the wall, and he holds Stone to that leadoff single.
Easton Bryan now going to step up for the first time tonight here in the 5th inning. Rebels with a 7-run lead, no outs here, a runner on first. Reese Lewick dealing for the Rebels. His first pitch to Bryan, not going to find the zone on the outer part. It'll go down as a ball, 1-0 the count. Takes a quick look over at first. Lewick threw his mind up, fouled off. Now 1-1 here. I am very curious to see what the kind of thought process was taking Bullard out of the game. Obviously, defensively, I don't think we've seen anything errant from him in those first 3 innings of work. But I mean, offensively, obviously going down 0 for 2 to start off the night with 2 strikeouts is not necessarily going to help your case. But I mean, it's kind of rare that you see someone get pulled out for that kind of start. And I mean, Jake Bullard's still a pretty decent, solid hitter for Northern Colorado. Maybe a possible injury, something like that.
Yeah, or maybe you're just trying to change up the batting lineup. Some changes like that could potentially start a rally and maybe get this offense going where it needs to be.
Pickoff attempt from Lewick. Not going to find the runner Stone out. Slides safely head first. 2-1 count here on Bryan. Lewick's pitch swung on down the line, but foul yet again. It'll be 2-2. Yeah, I mean, especially at the first base position, you're reaching out for some of those throws across the diamond. Can definitely result in some torn ligaments. I've suffered a couple of those back in my day. It's not a fun feeling. Just trying to do your job, not really thinking about it much, and can just feel the tear. You feel the pop. Hopefully not the case for Bullard tonight. And just maybe, like you said, kind of like a feel for the game here for the head coach for Northern Colorado. The 2-2 count here. Lewick had another pickoff attempt. It was unsuccessful. Now here's his pitch. Swung on down the line and foul again. Bryan doing a really good job here in his first time up at the plate. Really seeing these pitches all the way through and trying to make the most of this at-bat.
Yeah, with him not having any previous at-bats in this game, he's just simply trying to go up, make something of the at-bat, just kind of work a count deep, make a quality at-bat, show the coach that it was the right move to pinch hit him.
Here's the 2-2 from Lewick, high and inside for a ball, 3-2. And there is that added pressure kind of coming in, not necessarily halfway through the game, but at least in the middle of a game. And, your coach is really putting a lot of trust in you in order to come into this spot, take over at first base. Pickoff attempt again, not going to be in time. But Bryan doing a solid job here this first time up, and If he were to get this ball into play, especially with the amount of pitches that he fouled off, I feel as though that would be a bit of a successful AB, especially differing from those strikeouts that Bullard was putting up in the first and third inning.
Or if you draw a walk that puts Lewick in a tense situation where his pitch count's high, he's got 2 on. You don't want to see him.
Next pitch from Lewick, swung on and missed. Down on strikeouts yet again here in the 3 spot. This time it's Brian that goes down instead of Bullard. It brings up the designated hitter Zeke Minnick. Really thought something was going to come out of that at bat there, but Brian not able to read the off-speed pitch there from Lewick. Goes down swinging. Now here's the first pitch to Minnick, swung on and missed yet again.
Yeah, even if Bryant's not unable to reach base like he was in that situation, he still rose Lewick's pitch count. He still made Lewick work, and now the rest of the lineup can potentially face a higher pitch count Lewick. Maybe Lewick could potentially make some mistakes and get a rally started for Northern Colorado here.
And I mean, that's to say that these Bears hitters aren't necessarily unsuccessful against Lewick. I mean, they've got 7 hits already. They just haven't been able to cash them in. Obviously, we've seen the runner get all the way over to third base, and we've seen the 1 run score in tonight's game. But apart from that, it just has been the execution once they have those base runners on that's really kind of messing things up here for UNC.
Yeah, with runners in scoring position so far, they're 1 for 8, hitting 125, and with runners on, they're only hitting 3. They're 3 for 13, hit 231. So as you can see, they're not doing so well with the runners on base.
The 1-2 pitch from Lewick swung on and missed. It catches a piece of Gavin Taylor. Thankfully, the bag is occupied on first. So, he did catch a piece of that. Did look like the umpire was calling for a strikeout there, but he was actually just calling for a foul ball, which is what I thought it was to begin with. But the way that Gavin Taylor was reacting to it may have looked like he was, showing that, hey, while I may have not caught the ball, there's a runner on first. There's nothing I can do, even if I wanted to throw the ball down. So now it's Minnick doing a good job of battling here. Potentially trying to get this runner across. I mean, only 1 out in the inning. You've got Logan Pruski in the on-deck circle, who's already been successful tonight with a base hit. The 1-2 pitch from Lewick. Swung on over to the right side of the field. A diving Drew Berrigan isn't able to hold on to the ball. He quickly gets up and runs over to third base as Jack Salmon fields it in left field and throws it in. Jaden Stone hung up on second base, and now a runner in scoring position here for Pruski.
Yeah, Berrigan got a good jump on that ball. Unfortunately, he just dove right over the ball. It's able to get underneath it, and now it's a prime opportunity for the Bears here to maybe drive in a couple runs.
Yeah, it's those kind of ground balls that Drew Berrigan dove for, where you're kind of hoping for the bad hop in that specific situation. If not, when the ball just kind of rolls on the ground like that, you can't really get more horizontal with the ground unless you're obviously farther away from it and you're already sliding. But that ball just under Drew Berrigan, obviously Cooper Chef kind of guarding the second base bag as soon as the ball was hit, so he didn't have a chance at it either. The new hitter Pruski quickly finds himself ahead in the count 2-0 here. And Lewick really needs to slow the game down. And I mean, as I bring it up, Coach O stepping out to the mound. I mean, geez, it's like he heard me from all the way up here.
Maybe you could be in the Rebels dugout calling the shots.
I mean, I'd love to be in the Rebels dugout calling the shots. Don't get me wrong. Get to hang out with the guys. Always a fun time in any baseball dugout, whether it's at the college level. Obviously, the professional level must be a hoot. But again, I've had my fair share of experiences, high school, community college. It's a fun time, especially when you've got a close knit of guys like you do here at UNLV. You really have that sense of family almost. And those are the kind of teams that you really need to look out for. Because while on paper they may not have the statistics to say, hey, like I'm one of the best hitters in the country, I'm one of the best fielders, one of the best pitchers in the country, it still hones into when you're in those situations, when you're down on hard times and you're trying to get it through, you've got the guy right next to you there to pick you up.
Yeah, they play as a team, and you sometimes see in major league sports and in college sports, players sometimes play for themselves. It's not really a team sport. They play away from their team have that same chemistry like this UNLV team does.
So it's a 2-0 count here after the mound visit. Pruski still in the batter's box. The pitch from Lewick swung on and missed, and it seems like that mound visit definitely seemed to be pretty pivotal right here. Jaden Stone, the runner on second base. Zeke Minnick, the runner on first. 1 out recorded here in the top half of the 5th inning. Reese Lewick 1 pitch away here. Just about catches the inside part of the zone for another strike. He evens it up at 2 apiece here. And again, I mentioned that he really needed to slow the game down, and Coach O, the pitching coach here at UNLV, doing a great job of stepping out there and really talking to his guy, making sure that he's in the right headspace, and he's quickly come back here after being down 2-0 in the count. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Pruski, swung on over to the other side of the field. Nin Burns comes in to make the catch, the throw over to second base in time. What a play from Nin Burns. Great execution there from the Hustlin Rebels. Nin Burns able to read the situation perfectly. The runner on first, Zeke Minnick, reads the play and doesn't go too far away from first base, but it's instead Jaden Stone being a little bit too eager on the base pass. Nin Burns able to pick him off over at second base. Double play ends the inning here in the 5th. We'll see you in the bottom half. Exciting baseball here in Las Vegas. A bang-bang play from Nin Burns, the second over in right field to close out the top half of the 5th inning. Dekes the runner, Jaden Stone, over on second base into getting halfway between second and third. Throws a dart over to Cooper Sheff, the shortstop who was standing on second base, in order to finalize the double play. And now we're in the bottom of the 5th here. Jack Salmon, the leadoff hitter. Inside pitch doesn't quite hit him. It's now 1-0 here on Salmon.
Yeah, Salmon almost got hit with that pitcher. He's having to duck out of the way of this new pitcher. As we see another new pitcher start the inning for the Bears.
Yeah, it looks to be Mac Hibben up there on the bump for Northern Colorado. His 2-0 pitch, not finding the zone, now makes it 3-0 here on Salmon. And honestly, I'm just seeing the same repetitive motions here from every Northern Colorado pitcher we're seeing. And I mean, we've gotten a different pitcher every inning here. The 3-0 pitch finally catches a zone, now makes it 3-1.
Yeah, you have to wonder what the issue is with their command tonight. As I was saying earlier broadcast. Maybe they can't feel the seams that well. Maybe that's why they're struggling to find the command, or just the strike zone is different than what they're expecting, and so they just can't kind of cut. They're just trying to pitch around those corners. They just can't kind of.
5-pitch walk there for Salmon as Gavin Taylor, the catcher, is going to step up to the batter's box here for the Rebels. Catcher Peace signaling something over to his new pitcher Hibben. Just seems like he's making sure his pitcher knows that if the ball goes towards him, to just take a quick look over at second base, see if there's a play there, depending on how hard the ball is hit. And with Gavin Taylor up to the plate, you'd like to imagine that the ball would be hit pretty hard here as he takes that first pitch for a ball, makes it 1-0. Gavin Taylor stepping back in here. Jack Salmon gets his lead over at first. Hibben, a lefty, takes a look back over at Salmon as he throws that one inside for a ball, 2-0. Another lefty here for Northern Colorado. We saw it there from Stone to start off the game, and, you know, it kind of had a couple of the base runners really dilating that lead over at first. As the 2-0 pitch finds the zone on Taylor, now 2-1.
Yeah, Salmon's kind of condensed his lead over there at first. Not wanting to get picked off by that left who's got that deceptive pickoff attempt where he looks like he's going towards home plate, and he just quickly throws over to first.
The 2-1 swung on and missed off the bat of Gavin Taylor. Now 2-2 the count here. And I mean, we're talking about the execution here of Northern Colorado, and you'd think that on paper, obviously having a different pitcher every inning would really kind of mess up the scouting report for UNLV. But again, the free bases that they're issuing is just really killing them so much here. As another pitch is offline, it's now 3-2 here on Gavin Taylor. Feel like we've had so many full count scenarios here, and not only that, but full count scenarios with runners on bases. The 3-2 pitch up and inside for a ball. It's ball 4, and it looks like we're going to have yet another pitching change. Ben, can you believe what we're seeing right now?
I mean, we're 2 hours into this ball game, and we're only in the bottom of the 5th inning. If that doesn't tell you how long this game has been stretched out, I don't know what will.
Luckily, there is a run rule in place here. We do find ourselves up by 7, so another 3 runs going into the 7th would certainly go a long way. I know I'm itching to get to that Utah State basketball game over at the Thomas and Mack, but we'll be talking about that a little later on as the new pitcher for Northern Colorado gets warm here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The sixth pitcher from the Bears here in tonight's outing. First pitch he throws 91 on the gun, not finding the zone on the new hitter Gunnar Myro. It's Asher Clark gonna come in for relief here. It's in a bit of a jam here. Runners on second and first. Runner on second being Jack Salmon. Gavin Taylor over on first. The 1-0 pitch to Gunnar Myro. A bunt was shown but quickly pulled back. It doesn't matter as it's called a strike. Home plate umpire Isaias Barba had that catching the outer part of the zone for strike one.
If you're the Bears manager right here, you're just hoping one of these pitchers is going to be able to find the strike zone and kind of help prolong this game and give the Bears a chance to score some runs.
The 1-1 pitch a little high and inside now makes it 2-1. And Gunnar Myro has been in this situation before, and unfortunately he grounded out into a double play his last time up in the third inning when Gavin Taylor and Jack Salmon were on base. Now here's the 2-1 pitch, high again, now 3-1. In a favorable hitter's count, Gunnar Myro looking to record his first base hit of the day. Pickoff attempt over at second base. No pickoff attempt, actually. He fakes the throw, and that'll be his one of two step-offs that he's allowed this at-bat. Gunnar Myro getting the start in Sunday's game against Santa Clara, ended up clearing the yard. Here's the 3-1 pitch, swung on and fouled back. Gunnar Myro looking to replicate that success he found on Sunday here with an aggressive at-bat. Full count here. The bottom of the fifth inning. Rebels lead 8-1. Only 4 hits coming off the bats of the Hustlin Rebels. Meanwhile, Northern Colorado have recorded 8 against Reese Lewick, who's still going strong 5 innings through this game. Here's the pitch, high and inside for a walk. 3 consecutive walks there from Northern Colorado, 2 of them coming from a completely different pitcher. And now they're in another bases loaded jam here for the top of the lineup of the Rebels.
That is the 75th ball that this Bears pitching staff has thrown so far.
Can I get a strike comparison to that? Balls to strikes? What are we looking at?
46 strikes
Ooh.
for the Bears, 65 strikes thrown by the UNLV pitchers, only 28 balls thrown from Reese Lewick.
Yeah, Reese Lewick really doing a job here for the Hustlin Rebels. And we've said in broadcast prior, like the Western Michigan series and like the Bradley series, one of the things that you, Ben, really wanted to look out for more was just kind of seeing how far these UNLV pitchers can go. And Reese Lewick's pitch count definitely up there past the 70 pitch mark, but you'd like to imagine that Stan Stolte maybe still has a little bit more trust in his guy, as Jaden Hurdle finds himself in a 1-1 count here, as that most recent pitch missed low and outside in the dirt for a ball, now 1-1.
Yeah, if UNLV can extend their lead here to Mercy Rule territory, I'd like to see Lewick go out for another inning. He's got plenty of lead. They're not worried about losing this game. Just try to get that stamina up.
Another pitch high for a ball, now makes it 2-1 here, and Hurdle's in a great chance to try and send this game into that Mercy area. Obviously, the rulings here in Division I college baseball is that if you're winning by more than 10 runs after the 7th inning, NCAA looks at that as going, okay, you've done what you needed to do. We get it. But an 8-1 ball game here in the 5th. That pitch again, Hurdle trying to get out of the way of it, almost checked his swing because of it, not able to hold the bat back, but it isn't called as a strike down the first base side. Anthony Prater, the first base ump here. It's a 3-1 count here on Hurdle. Clark gets his pitch through his long windup, and another walk is going to bring in a run. That's the second time in today's game that Jaden Hurdle has walked in a run. I say that as if he's the pitcher.
That's the 14th walk from the Bears pitching staff so far. And Hurdle draws another walk with the bases loaded, drives another run in.
We've got a mound visit here from Northern Colorado yet again. And I mean, you look at these last couple of innings, even going back to the second, started off with a walk, then a base hit, walk, 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 base hit. Then in the third, a base hit to start it off, then a walk, another walk, a third walk. You're able to finish the inning there with a strikeout on Hurdle looking. And then the fourth inning, open up with a Marcus Rosales blast into left field. And then quickly after that, you give up another walk to Drew Berrigan. There was that great double play after the fact, but then he proceeded to walk Johnny Rodriguez, the very next batter. Now we're here in the fifth inning, and I bet you can guess what the first four outcomes have been. A walk, a walk, a walk, and another walk.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you have to feel bad for the Bears. They just cannot find the strike zone, and it's getting a little depressing. You come to the ballpark to see a good quality baseball game, and that's not what we've been given here.
Yeah, and I mean, you already mentioned it. We're already past the 2 hour mark here in today's game, and I mean, we haven't even recorded an out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Pitching meeting now adjourned. Clark still up there for the Bears. First pitch to the new hitter, Marcos Rosales, is in the dirt yet again for a ball. 1-0 the count here. It's Jaden Hurdle, the base runner, on first. Gunnar Myro on second. Gavin Taylor on third. Here's the pitch from Clark. Swung on over the shortstop's head for a base hit. Here comes Gavin Taylor to score. Gunnar Myro looked like he was going to turn to try and get to home plate, but the third base coach for UNLV stops him in his tracks. It's a base hit single for Marcos Rosales, his second RBI of the game.
Yeah, just Rebels going station to station here. That's the Rebels' fifth hit of the night, their 10th run scoring. They're just trying to move the lineup around, get more opportunities for the guys to drive in more runs.
That's the second time Jack Salmon has crossed home plate in today's game, and it brings up Drew Berrigan, who already had that base hit 2 RBI at bat in the second inning. He's got bases loaded here with no outs. It's a 10-1 ball game here in the bottom of the fifth inning. First pitch he sees, he fouls to the top of the clubhouse, makes it 0-1. Honestly, even when Drew Berrigan gets behind in the counts like that, we've seen him get to even 0-2 counts where he's able to put the ball in play, really shorten up his swing, and do some damage regardless of who he's playing. We saw it against Santa Clara. We saw it against Western Michigan. Bradley, Austin Pay is looking to do the same here as he falls behind 0-2 the count here.
He really can just hit to all fields, and that's what makes him such a great hitter, is that he really has no weakness. You can throw it inside and he'll get to it. You can throw it outside and he'll get to it. And that is really difficult for pitchers who can't seem to find the strike zone.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, swung on, lifted high in the air to right center field. Center fielder giving chase, able to make the grab. It'll be Gavin Taylor tagging up from third. That's Gunnar Myro tagging up from third in order to score the 11th run of the Rebels score here.
Digging in number 21, Dan Byrne.
Yeah,
So
as I was just saying, Berrigan's able to get out in front of that ball, just able to reach that bat out there, just sort of like what Taylor did in that Santa Clara game. And this one's able to be a sac fly and drive the run in. It's not the best piece of hitting from Berrigan that we've seen, but it gets the job done. It moves the lineup around and gets another opportunity for Burns here.
Yeah, Mason Griffin, the center fielder for Northern Colorado, has just been locked down all night over there in center field, and not just center field, but really covering those gaps as well. Definitely one of the speedier players here on this Bears lineup. But like you said, Nin Burns now in the batter's box. He's down 0-1 in the count. Here's the pitch from Clark, swung on and missed, now 0-2. Runners on second and third now. It was only Myro that advanced there on the sac fly from Berrigan. Jaden Hurdle on second. Marcos Rosales on first after his base hit single. That scored in Gavin Taylor. Another pitch off speed and in the dirt now makes it 1-2 here. Again, Nin Burns, just like his counterpart Drew Berrigan, trying to battle his way back here. And again, another one of those guys where even if your back is kind of against the wall in these kinds of at-bats, you're not really worried. He's been able to get on base in these kinds of situations before. Here's the 1-2, swung on and missed. Clark's first strikeout of the game, second out of the inning. And now it's Johnny Rodriguez stepping into the box here for the Hustlin Rebels. Had that base hit in the third, walked in the fourth, now has his fourth at-bat in 4 innings. If he can get on, Cooper Sheff will also have his fourth at-bat in 4 innings. Really goes to show just how much the Rebels are kind of hidden around here. The pitch, outside and high for a ball. 1-0 the count here on Rodriguez. It's an 11-1 ball game here in the 5th inning. 5 runs from the Rebels in the second, another 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and now 3 here in the 5th. Northern Colorado did attack first in the top half of the 2nd inning, but it's been all Rebels ever since, as Johnny Rodriguez swings and misses at that one, now 1-1.
Yeah, with a 10-run lead here, you're not looking to be too aggressive. You're just looking to basically get to a hitter-friendly count and then drive something to the opposite field. Get a couple runs in here. You're not looking to hit home runs. Just looking to piece together a couple base hits.
That pitch misses high and outside, 2-1 here. And I mean, you look at how we got these 11 runs, and again, I will keep bringing up the box score. Northern Colorado are out hitting us. A big part of this huge lead is simply the free base, and we've seen that in this inning alone so much, as Johnny Rodriguez now finds himself way ahead in the count, 3-1 here. Again, Jack Salmon started things off. It would be him and the next 3 batters that would all walk, and all 3 of those runners have crossed home plate. Clark gets his pitch on the mound. The 3-1-2 Rodriguez hits him in the shin. He's got that Evo shield on, which surely must have kind of softened the blow a little bit more for him, but still pretty angry that he wasn't able to fully get out of the way of that one. And one of the coaches going to retrieve the ball here for Northern Colorado as Cooper Sheff now finds himself with his 4th at-bat in 4 innings.
Yeah, Asher looked like he had pretty good control there, and that last pitch just slips out of his hand, and unfortunately hits Rodriguez in a place where there's not really much protection there. You can wear as much, armor, shin guards, whatever you want, but that's a bony spot. There's not a lot of muscle there. There's not a lot of fat there, and that's just gonna hurt.
Yeah, especially in those kind of areas, like you said, a real bony spot, and especially look at the ligaments going down there on the shin ankle area. Makes it one of kind of the quote-unquote Achilles heels, obviously that kind of around the corner of the foot, but still just a very sensitive spot. And even when you get hit in that zone, the first thought process is, man, I hope I'm not injured, because I could have easily gone out of the way of that ball. Cooper Sheff finds himself down in the count, 0-1. Here's the pitch from Clark. Not going to find the outer part of the zone. Peace desperately trying to frame that one back in the zone. Not going to be successful. It's now 1-1 here on Sheff. There is actually another hitter that has had 4 at-bats in these last 4 innings, and that's actually Nin Burns. Nin Burns had those 2 at-bats in the second. Didn't come up in the third, but obviously came up in the fourth. Came up this inning. So there are now 3 hitters. I misspoke when I thought it was just Cooper Sheff and Johnny Rodriguez with 4 at-bats in 4 innings. But again, the scorecard that's right in front of me is just looking so crazy right now. The 1-2 pitch on Sheff. Not going to find the zone, outside and low. Evens the count at 2 apiece. 2 balls, 2 strikes,
Yeah,
2
Peace
outs.
set up outside for that pitch, and then unfortunately Sheff very disappointed at the plate, not looking to swing aggressively. He just takes that outside for a second ball.
The 2-2 pitch from Clark. Swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch at 84. Catches Cooper Sheff looking in order to end the inning. UNLV do manage to bat their entire lineup yet again for the second time this game in the 5th inning. They find themselves up by 10 runs as we enter the 6th. Entering the sixth inning here at beautiful Earl E. Wilson Stadium on a clear and somewhat warmer night than we've experienced here to start off the season. Reese Lewick's day is done here in the top of the sixth. It'll be LJ Manning stepping up to relieve his duties on the mound. Stepping out to Eminem's Without Me, the chosen walk-up song for the junior. LJ Manning hailing from Balsam Lake, Wisconsin. Transferred over from Dakota Community Technical College. One of those big name, obscure, small schools that you just love getting guys from. It's where all the greatest story starts, as he quickly gets the 1-2-3 strikeout on Ethan Mooser, the first hitter of the game. I wasn't even able to go through his somewhat bio here.
Yeah, we're talking about that community college that he went to, or technical college, excuse me. You know that he really has the skills to make it to Division One baseball. It takes a lot to go from junior college to Division One to rise up those ranks.
Stepping up to the plate here is Ethan Sanchez, a freshman outfielder. Throws and bats lefty. Will face LJ Manning. Takes over for the catcher, Sam Peace. We saw Sam Peace let a couple of balls get by him in these previous innings. Obviously, we were speculating as to why Jake Bullard got pulled earlier in today's game, but for Sam Peace's performance, again, just a kind of hard day behind the plate, especially with the pitching staff not really getting the job done here as the new hitter finds himself at a 1-1 count.
It's kind of weird to see a catcher get subbed out this late in the game. You really don't. You really want to try to stick with your catchers throughout the entire game because it's better for your pitchers to kind of have that same continuous catcher. But we'll see what they're trying to do here with this switch.
The 2-1 pitch from Manning. Swung on over to the second baseman, Rosales. Fields it cleanly on two hops and gets the out over at first base. Very routine 4-3 play there for the Hustlin Rebels, and they're quickly two down here in the top of the sixth. No substitutions as the center fielder Mason Griffin steps into the batter's box here. And to flip it over to UNLV for a second, Reese Lewick's definitely got to be happy with that performance from him tonight. 5 innings pitch. He did give up the 8 hits, but only 1 run coming across. Really kind of held it down as soon as those runners got on base. We've seen that from him before this season and really did a great job in today's matchup.
Yeah, he had really good command of his stuff tonight. Struck out 7 batters, only walked 1. And that just shows he had really good faith in his pitches, and he was just able to work through those issues he had in those first 2 innings and kind of continue through this ball game, throwing 93 pitches in 5 innings.
Our hearts go out to the Lewick family as he unfortunately lost his grandfather earlier this week. You like to imagine that that performance was certainly for him. He even changed his walkout song to one of his grandfather's favorite songs to start off his outing. So great story there from Reese Lewick. Great outing and a great day for the Lewick family in general. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Manning, swung on and fouled. 1-2 the count here. And I mean, you just love feel good stories like that. Lewick able to go out there, wear his heart on his sleeve, put the team first, and get the job done. That pitch swung on and fouled back. And we talked about kind of the familial aspect of this team, and you'd like to imagine that with all the warm and open hearts here from the Huston Rebels, they're there to protect their guy, talk to him throughout the week, make sure he was okay for today's start, and he put on an absolute clinic tonight. The 1-2 from Manning swung on out of the glove of Taylor. Seems as though Griffin was able to get a piece of that one in order to stay alive. We'll do it again at 1-2.
Yeah, very touching story for Luke so far. He's definitely pitching with emotion. He was able to work through that and just have a great performance in honor of his grandfather.
Swung on and missed is how this last at-bat will go for Griffin. Great piece of pitching there from LJ Manning. He faces 3 batters, retires all 3-2 in the way of the K, and we'll quickly see you here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning here. Hustlin Rebels find themselves up 10 runs, 11-1. Jack Salmon, the hitter, flies one deep into center field. It'll be Griffin under it to make the grab, and is quickly 1 away here. Back-to-back innings there. I'm not able to get the introduction out before these guys are just blistering balls out into the field.
Just first pitch swinging there. Salmon flies one to center field. Griffin been very busy so far throughout the game. That was sort of a can of corn for him to be able to just settle under that one. And for the first out.
Yeah, that'll be Jack Salmon's first time not getting up here, and it'll be Connor Tallickson taking over for Gavin Taylor in the 8th spot. First pitch he sees. He's going to miss the zone, now 1-0 here. A couple of defensive changes here from Northern Colorado. Mac Dawsey comes into the game as catcher. We saw Ethan Sanchez come into bat, but doesn't play the catching position. So it'll be Mac Dawsey coming in, the right-handed freshman, taking over for Peace behind the plate. Wilson Kiefer finds himself over at third. And it'll be Brian Kenny now over at second. As the next pitch spiked into the ground. 2-1 the count here. I mean, this is one of the rare times we're not seeing a new pitcher out there on the mound. Asher Clark still doing the job here for the Bears. He finds himself down in the count, 2-1 against Tallickson. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled right back.
Yeah, odd for the Bears to not shell out a new pitcher, but I think it's late in the game. You're in mercy rule territory. You're not wanting to waste another bullpen pitcher, and so you're just gonna let Asher throw it, get it out there.
Yeah, we're potentially. I mean, do I say 5 or 8 runs here? I'm not too sure on how that mercy rule works, as Connor Tallickson called on strikes. Now 2 outs here, and it'll be Jaden Sanchez stepping up to the box here. But yeah, going back to the mercy rule, obviously the big rule of thumb is that, once you're in the 7th inning and you're past 10 runs, then the game is over. But I mean, surely that doesn't. I'm right in thinking that obviously, if we're up by 10 runs after we record the 3 outs in the top half of the next inning, then That'll surely just end the game.
Yeah, that's how it was the game, the Wednesday game against Western Michigan last week. It was, I think it was a 16-1 final score. Tate Foxen came in and all of a sudden got 3 outs, and in the seventh inning, and they're celebrating, they're walking out, shaking hands, and going, "Good game and great jobs on the scoreboard," or "Good
Yeah.
win," or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Jaden Sanchez is taking over for Gunnar Myro. And I do believe I see a Nicky Garitano in the on-deck circle who's possibly taking over for Jaden Hurdle in the DH spot. Jaden Sanchez coming in for Gunnar Myro, the center fielder, makes sense. We've been talking about Jaden Sanchez, why he may or may not be in today's lineup, and especially Sunday's lineup as well against Santa Clara. But now finds himself with an at-bat here. And I mean, yeah, we're kind of looking at this game going, geez, this is going to be a pretty late one. But with the mercy rule in place, Ben, we might have time to get on over to Thomas and Mack, catch that running Rebels game against the Aggies of Utah State. As that pitch is swung on by Jaden Sanchez, a little trickler over to second base who quickly fields it. A little bit of an errant throw, but the first baseman able to hold on to it and end the inning. We're going to the top half of the seventh inning, potentially the last opportunity here for Northern Colorado if they can't scrape a run across the board, as the mercy rule is affected here. It's 11-1 ball game as we head into the top of the seventh. It's the top of the seventh inning here. UNLV find themselves with an 11-1 lead over the Northern Colorado Bears, who are honestly looking for at least one run here in this inning in order to try and stay alive and keep this game going. Mercy rule in full effect, and if they can't get a run, it'll go down as a final in 7 innings for the Hustlin Rebels. Colton Sunloff up on the bump here for Hustlin Rebels, relieving LJ Manning after his 1 inning of duty. First pitch to the hitter, Kenny Bryan, misses the zone for a ball. Now the 1-0 pitch also misses the zone, 2-0 here.
Yeah, LJ had a really good performance. I was kind of surprised to see him not continue out here. Maybe just use 2 pitchers and then have your rest of your bullpen ready for tomorrow and the upcoming series.
Yeah, that upcoming series for the Hustlin Rebels is going to be that much anticipated Minnesota tournament taking place at the home of the Vikings, US Bank Stadium. It's always fun playing baseball in a football stadium. You know, the weird dimensions, all that kind of thing. You think about the Brooklyn Dodgers when they were playing at the Coliseum, and those weird dimensions as that ball is trickled down the line. Drew Berrigan giving chase on it. The throw over to first, not going to be in time. Great throw there from Drew Berrigan. Drew Berrigan, a really good thrower on the run. I was lucky enough to catch an angle of Drew Berrigan throwing a ball over to first on a bunt down the third base side, and it really is spectacular. He throws that ball on the money every single time.
Yeah, watching a third baseman do his job, it's just one of the best things in sports. Looking like Nolan Arenado over the
Absolutely.
fortunately.
That is a very fair comparison there for Drew Berrigan. Not overstated at all. The new hitter now is Brett Barber. First pitch finds the zone for a strike. Now makes it 0-1 here. It's actually going to be Wilson Kiefer, who got subbed in last inning. This is his first at bat. Pickoff attempt over at first base, not in time. Brian Kenny sliding in safely. But yeah, with a bit of luck here, Ben, we'll only miss the first half of the Runnin' Rebels game. Again, we've mentioned it a few times on the broadcast. They're taking on Utah State as that pitch is gone over to shortstop. Cooper Chef not thinking about the throw to second. He instead throws it to Johnny Rodriguez on a dime and in time.
Yeah, well, I haven't been over to Thomas and Mack yet for a basketball game. I've been meaning to get over there, but I just haven't had the time to.
Oh yeah, the Runnin' Rebels definitely have had their run of good streaks throughout the Mountain West Conference competition, but there have been some true heartbreaking losses happening over at Thomas and Mack. Recently coming off of, honestly, what's our national championship? A win over Reno in Vegas. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. The MAC was packed. Everyone was bouncing. It was a great time there on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday night. Can't quite recall which day it was, but still a great game. Went into overtime. Tyron Jones misses 2 free throws, is able to get the ball in his hands again, puts the Rebels up on a layup, and even has a tip drill to kind of end the game, send the ball over to the Reno side of the court. Have to do the long inbound, put up the 3, and it missed.
Yeah, it always feels good to beat that team up north. I believe we also beat them in football this year.
Yeah, we did. The cannon is painted red, and I believe it'll be painted red for a good time here in Vegas. It's a 3-0 count to start the at-bat here against the 2-hitter, Jaden Stone. Jaden Stone, one of, honestly, the few players here in this lineup that hasn't been subbed out. Has found himself playing the 7 spot all night tonight. And here's the 3-0